Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Heartland Franchise Guy, your insider's guide to franchising in the local area. I'm Blake Martin, local small business franchise owner and your Heartland Franchise Guy. This is the place for advocacy, resources, and education on all things franchising in the local area and for local entrepreneurs looking to learn more about the franchising field. Today's guests are a husband and wife team, co-owners of 3 The Exercise Coach franchise locations. Sommer and Ryan Hahn, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Blake.
Excited to be here.
Thank you. So I mentioned there that it's in the fitness field, right? But the way your business model and the way you operate is very unique within the fitness field. Can you talk a little bit about what sets your opportunity apart?
Yeah, so we're super excited to be part of the Exercise Coach brand. And what's unique about our, we call them fitness studios, they're smaller, boutique style studios, is we offer smart robotic training equipment. So rather than barbells and free weights that you might find in a conventional gym, the equipment that we offer clients is high technology, data-driven equipment that allows us to customize an individual's workout. So the first time somebody comes in, they do a strength test, and we're able to take out the guesswork and the downtime of fitness. And so we're really geared toward busy professionals. Folks that train with us come in twice a week for just 20 minutes and see a really significant impact to their health.
Just 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, so great for busy professionals or just busy people in general. We have, everyone's short on time, and it's hard to get that traditional kind of 5 days a week hour workout in. And so this is a great alternative for that.
And you see real progress with 20-minute sessions.
Right. So the way our equipment is set up, typically when an individual strength trains in a conventional environment, people are used to going in and doing 3 sets of 12, maybe a moderate effort, something they could do and talk while they're exercising. Our equipment is set up to take somebody to a higher level of intensity for a shorter period of time. And what research has shown is that the individual's goals, that individuals can find the results that they're looking for working harder for a shorter period of time than working moderately day after day.
Quality over quantity.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Interesting.
Yep. Yeah, and what you'll also find in the gym is that you have a lot of downtime waiting for the machine to open up or the stack weights or the barbells, dumbbells to be available to be used. So that takes time in your workout as well as just sort of the guesswork, right? So this takes out the downtime in the guesswork because the machine has prescribed a workout exactly to your ability. And so you're not wondering how much weight you should be moving. It's going to prescribe it based on your ability and have that right intensity to get the results that matter most to you.
So you go to the machine, whatever that is, or those machines that particular day, and it knows that you are the member who's coming in for that workout and knows the routine and the intensity that's geared specifically towards you.
Exactly.
Right. And the neat thing about that is, we have Division I athletes that train with us. We have a 93-year-old at one of our studios. So the cool thing about the right intensity that it prescribes is that it's not going to be too hard for that individual because they set the target effort based on their first visit with us.
Okay.
As they get stronger over time, we can make modifications to that when they're ready. We also, another really important aspect of the individualized exercise is the range of motion. So one thing that's top of mind with folks that train with us is their safety and just the risk of injury. And so we really take that away with our setup procedures, and our coaches are very trained in this. And so we'll set up range of motion. So when somebody comes in the first time, we set up what the safest range of motion is for them. And the exercises are slow and controlled, but at their maximum effort. So they're able to work hard at an effort that's set for them and also in a way that's very safe.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is really unique.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what is also pretty awesome about it is that we have a coach who will go along with you on the workout as well. So it's really a personal training model combined with the technology, and so those two things together really helps enable the clients to get their best workout in. So the machine prescribes it, but you have somebody there who's motivating you, encouraging you to work hard.
that can become necessary.
Yes,
at times.
absolutely. Yeah.
Well, especially if you're trying to hit maximum effort every
Right.
time you're
Right.
there, right?
Yeah.
It's about a 30% improvement when a coach is by your side versus if you were independently to come into one of our studios. The data has shown that if you've got somebody there by your side that's encouraging you, telling you how many more sets you have left, there's about a 30% improvement in what you see in an individual's effort if they're guided by a coach. So.
Wow. No wonder you're in such good shape, Ryan. She's standing over you,
She just
screaming
watches
at you.
me all the time.
Harder.
Well, and I think to your point, accountability is really important because most of who we see in our studios, they're busy professionals like yourself. It's
Yeah.
also somebody that's going to follow up with them if they miss a workout. So if you have a scheduled appointment with us and you don't come in on that time, the coach is going to be following up with you to get you rescheduled to make sure that
Right.
you get that session in. So
Yep.
that's a really important part of it because motivation, especially if it's cold in the winter, people want to just stay home. The coach will be, just following up, asking them when they're coming back in. So.
Yep. You got somebody expecting you, so
Yeah.
it makes
Right,
it
right.
a little harder not to show up.
So, speaking of the motivation, that's the perfect segue into a little bit of conversation about you guys as the business owners and how you became the business owners. So, first of all, neither of you had background as fitness business owners before, correct?
That's right. Yep. I mean, we had participated in exercise and enjoy it,
Right.
even, but
Yeah.
no education in it and things like that. So it was not something that we knew we were going to do, especially earlier on in our careers. But
Yeah.
something that, with your help, we discovered and really lined up something that we were interested in, as well as we talked about a criteria of wanting to start a business that would either create a community or transform lives. And so that was really our filter, when we came and met with you.
Yeah.
And so, this turns out just does both of those things, so it was really intriguing from the start.
Tell me more about the impact that you're making on people.
Yeah, I would say, as I think back, we're approaching 2 years of, serving clients in West Omaha and Countryside Village.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It goes very fast.
It does.
But I think about, we've been able to mentor some friends in other studios, and I think the greatest joy that we have found is just the individual stories of people. And it can be, somebody that's had chronic pain, maybe from
Yeah.
a car accident or something in their past, and they've had to just give up exercising, and now they're back at it, and they're sleeping better. They maybe come in for something routine, and then we find out as we get to know them that, they're able to sleep and this pain is gone. And so that's so wonderful, and they're able to experience their kids' activities at a greater level. We also have clients that are older that when they fell, they used to have to call a child to come help them. And so now they're able to just be more independent. If something happens that's simple in their day, that they can recover and just kind of get back at their...
So your typical member is not a 20-something who's just looking to get more toned or more buffed.
Correct. While this workout would absolutely work for them, it's much more common for somebody 40 years or older to be in our studio.
Okay. Well, then I qualify.
I will say we were prepared for that demographic, but one thing with COVID that did shift, and we've continued to see this, is we've had more younger folks that are either busier because of the demands of working from home and children and just juggling activities in a different way, or just people in the medical profession that don't necessarily want to spend 5 hours a week in a conventional big gym. And they see the value in a small private facility for this sort of time that we're in. We've seen that shift a little bit. I would say for sure in our West Omaha studio, where we have 20s and 30s, and then we've started a youth program as well, where we have athletes training in groups with their teammates, like groups of 4. And if they're working on a specific skill, we've started to do that as well, and we've seen some great benefits.
That's been pretty neat to have the younger, so we can go 13 at the youngest age, and then like Summer mentioned, we have a 93-year-old, so the range is pretty phenomenal. But those younger kids, they're busy too, right? They've got they're into sports, they're practicing almost every day, and then they've got their homework, or if they do an instrument or in dance, just they're overscheduled as well, just as much as adults, right? So to have an opportunity for them to come train, really see the results that help them prevent injury, help them perform better in their sport, but also just help them with their self-confidence, and just the way that they look and feel. it's been really cool to see that as a part too. That was a bit of a surprise.
And many of our coaches, they were athletes in college, so they have a lot of fun with it when we bring in, a group of girls from a basketball team, and they can get kind of creative with the workout.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been something that we've enjoyed, and we'll probably expand when we open our Northwest location.
Yep.
Speaking of opening, I don't want to forget this one because you also brought up COVID. So, if I recall correctly, you opened that first West Omaha studio in the spring of 2020.
Yes.
At the height of the confusion and uncertainty of what was COVID all about.
Mm-hmm.
So my question to both of you is, how on earth did you gather the intestinal fortitude to open up a fitness club in, what was it, May of 2020?
It was, yes. In fact, we were supposed to open in March, and
oh, wow.
That's when it was, if you remember, the flights were being canceled, the basketball tournament was canceled.
I was stuck in Las Vegas.
There you go, yes. It was, confusion was a good word to describe it. We weren't quite sure what was going to happen, and it was pretty scary, actually. We made a big change and really invested a lot and changed our life to do this. And we didn't know if we would open. I guess at that point, looking now back, we should have known this time would pass, but it didn't feel that way then. It was pretty scary. But we just stayed committed. We had a great network of people supporting us in our personal lives, as well as the franchisor. Had regular meetings and was very, very supportive and helped us stay confident to weather the storm. And really here in Nebraska, we fared better than other parts of the country, I think, in terms of what could be open and what couldn't. So as soon as a person could go get a haircut again, we decided that was the time we would open our doors. And so it was, I think it was May 4th or something along those lines that
it was mid-May. We moved from March 23rd to mid-May just to kind of take a pause and just see what things were shaking out to be. So.
Yep.
And what happened?
It exploded.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that right?
June was a record month, so we kind of eased in May. I think there was a little bit of an ease in. It wasn't the opening we had anticipated prior to March. And then mid-May, we had all of our staff back and ramped up. And then by June, we had a record month. And the cool thing, as Ryan mentioned, our franchisor was engaged with us on a regular basis, is we were one of the first studios across the network. So there was about 120 studios open at the time, most of which were closed, obviously, that spring. And so we were one of the first out, if you will, from the closure. And so it was a great testament to just how important health and fitness was during this time, still to people that were concerned about COVID. Their doctors were also telling them, some of the things that are going to help you fight illness is just the overall health. And so being sedentary and, those types of activities aren't going to help you. And so that's probably why we saw things take off in June. And we had protocols that were in place. So the fact that we're 1,500 square feet and we wiped down the machines and those types of things were already something that we were doing. So it wasn't a big modification on our part to adapt to what was new.
Small, private, clean, short duration there.
And the big thing is, the governor at the time was, telling everybody in the community not to go stand and linger. And that isn't what people do in our studios. They don't come and sit and wait and chit-chat. They come in because they're busy and they exercise and they go. And so I think it lent itself to that environment pretty well. And so
it's not a huge format, right? Sorry for interrupting you, but you don't have a massive square footage either.
Right.
Yeah, so there can only be so many people in there at once.
Exactly.
And so that's some of what stayed is, just all of the demands on professionals with this new environment that we have, which is still lingered to some degree for people's work lives. And so because that's happening, I think we see just a continued demand for something that's just more efficient and it's smarter for a busy professional's time.
Yeah.
So they can realize the benefits that strength training has, but they also see that they don't have to spend an hour a day doing that, and they can get back some of their life that they've lost to other activities. So.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
You chose well. So.
Yeah, and I think just because of that success, we knew we wanted to move forward with the subsequent locations.
Right.
And things were going well, and we had a really great coaching staff, which is really key to our success. We give them a lot of credit, and really at this point we see that as kind of our job is to make sure we pour into our coaches. Inspire, motivate, support, all those types of things, and then they're the ones who work with the clients, and then it all works out if that's how it goes. So
yes, and I would say if we could attribute the success we had with our first 2 studios to one thing, it would be them. I mean, just the hearts of the people that we have on staff. We feel so blessed with who's come into our life, just personally, and on behalf of our clients as well. It's there's such a high level of commitment that each of our coaches have to the individual clients they train. There's personal relationships that have been formed just well beyond what we would have ever imagined. And part of that is their job was bigger too, because the issues that the clients were bringing in the door, they were pretty heavy at times, not just COVID, but just all the other things that came with that. And so it's been really neat to see. We're proud to say we still have our entire staff on from when we've started.
No kidding.
We've grown.
That's fantastic.
And it's just been fun to see them all grow and mature. And some of them have exercise science backgrounds, and just like Ryan and I, some of them don't. Some of them have left, a prior career, maybe in engineering, or, we have a gal that she was a piano teacher and focused on nutrition, but just is really committed to helping people. And so it's just been really neat to see the commitment that they have to the clients.
Yep.
So in addition, speaking of your staff, in addition to knowing we've got the right team in place, what else made you realize that it was okay to open up that second set of doors, and then more recently opening the third set of doors to another location? What did you need to have in place to feel comfortable enough that, we're ready to go to number 2, and then we're ready to go to number 3?
Yeah, like you said, I have to mention it again, the team was a huge part of it, but just, financially, the first studio working out to be profitable very quickly, and then able to, fund that second location, and having those resources available. And we knew that one was going to be successful. And all along the way, whether, too long of stories here, but a lot of stories that just show this was meant to be, that happened and fell into place. And so, we had a situation with the location of the second one that somebody had a dream about where it was, and he told us, and that was the place that we were looking. And it was just like
yes,
we could tell stories a lot longer than we have right here, but we won't get into those. But there's just
that's
number
a
of things.
whole separate podcast episode.
We've just through this whole journey, kind of just had doors open and close, and it was very apparent to keep moving forward. So there was really no doubt in our minds to keep moving and get all 3 of these open as soon as we could.
Yeah.
And once you see the momentum from the clients that you've helped, and so these personal friends that we now have that have gone through maybe a really difficult year and come along to the other side of that in a way that's victorious to them, maybe small, maybe big, you get so excited about helping more people, and our coaches are too. And so I think that really helps push us. Is this isn't really a client number, it's a person with a face and a story that matters to us. And so when you can help people with those victories and they experience a better life, you're so excited about that you just want to continue the journey. And so I think, and our coaches do too. I mean, they already have goals for our Maple Street location that are just great. So we're excited to help people in the community. And
I mean, it's, to your point, like if we're ever having a bad day, we just need to go into the studio, spend some time there, or coach some clients, and you're like, okay, this makes sense. We got to keep going.
And almost every time they'll come knock on the back office door if we're back there and just share a story, something that we don't know or that we don't see that one of the coaches did. And so it's just really neat. So.
Speaking of journeys, what have you learned about yourselves on this entrepreneurial journey over the last few years?
I think one of the biggest things, so it is unique, being in business with your spouse. And we've done this before. We went to college together, and high school and graduate school too. And I think it's easy. We have 3 daughters, and they're pretty young still. At least I like to think they are. And so and they're very much part of this. I mean, so they could tell you every coach's name, clients' names, stories. They're super involved. And so when we're passionate about something, I think it's it's easy to kind of spend a lot of time on it all the time. And so I think what we've learned is that we have to kind of set boundaries too. So we've especially recently really tried to just kind of block off time to just turn things off. Thankfully, we're closed on Sundays, so that helps. And just Saturday mornings, we train until about 1 p.m. And the girls are busy with activities and things. But I think one thing that I've learned for sure is that when you're excited about something, you just also have to put healthy boundaries in place so that you leave space for things outside of what would be called work. And I think because we don't see it as work, it's a joy and a passion that it's easy to do it all the time. And so boundaries are important.
Yeah. And I think it also, for me, you like to work in a purpose-driven occupation, and I feel like it's just really worked itself out to hold true that we can just pour ourselves into people, and that's what we can focus on. People first and profits will follow, right? We're in business we want to make money, right? We're in a business to make money too, but we've found that the more and more we just focus on people, whether it's our coaches or the clients, the rest of it kind of takes care of itself, and that's been pretty cool. Kind of see really hold true. You hear a lot of talk about purpose and mission and all of that, but I don't know. It was just it's been a good experience from that standpoint.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I cannot think of a better way to wrap up this podcast than the two statements you just made. However, I do want to ask, how do people get a hold of you? How do people find your locations?
Yeah, so the easiest way is probably just our website, so www.exercisecoach.com.
The Exercise Coach.
Just Exercise Coach.
Just Exercise.
Just Exercise
Yep,
Coach.
exercisecoach.com. Yep. And then you'll get all the information on that site, and you can pick a location.
Yep.
The best way to learn about us is to come in the studio. So we do offer 2 free sessions. They're no obligation, no pressure. We say anybody should just come in and try it, right? Even if you don't end up signing up for our program, you'll get to experience something brand new and different in the fitness industry. And if it's not for you, it might be for somebody you know. So we'd love for anybody who hears this that's interested to come into one of our studios and either meet us or one of our great coaches.
So we're 180th and West Center, and then just north of 87th and Pacific in Countryside Village, and then 144th and West Maple, and the Shops of Greyhawk, March 1st.
Thank you for that, by the way.
Yeah. Got all those locations down, and once you go to the website, it'll kind of help you filter which location's closest to you. And like Ryan said, there's no high pressure sales. The coaches have a lot of fun showing people. They get excited about it, and so.
Thank you, Ryan, Sommer. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your story. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us, and thanks for making this possible for us. The Exercise Coach wouldn't be possible without you, so thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yes, we appreciate it. We made a right connection with that for sure.
Yep.
And we appreciate all of you joining us for another episode of the Heartland Franchise Guy. We'll see you here again soon on the next episode.